Hello, welcome to today's practice. This practice is going to be all about sort of finding a bit of space in the body, easing out any stiffness or tension. So it'll be a gentle practice, kind of starting on the floor, coming up to standing, and then working back down. So yeah, whenever you're ready, let's just come to begin lying down on the ground. And when you arrive there, bringing yourself to a place that feels comfortable. So give yourself a little bit of time to wiggle around, to find where that is. And then just thinking of bringing a bit of spaciousness to the joints of the body. So allowing the shoulders to relax down, making sure that the neck and the head are comfortable, that there's space behind the neck. Relaxing down the spine and checking that there is enough space behind the lower back, and if not, you can bend the knees or bring the legs wider. And then relaxing through the legs, through the arms. Beginning to allow a little bit more weight into the body, so allowing the body to ground down, to ease and relax and find support from the ground below. And then finding some softening through the face and letting the eyes soften and relax, the jaw release. Relaxing down through the middle of the body, so the chest is relaxed, the rib cage, the belly soft. And then just beginning to become aware of your breathing, and you can bring your hands to the body if that's helpful, or keep the arms where they are, and just begin to become aware of the movement of your breath. And then as we begin to tune in with the breath, just noticing the expansion and gentle rising of the body on the inhale and the relaxing back of the body on the exhale. We're just going to bring some simple movement in for the head and the neck. So next time that you breathe out, just rolling the head towards the right side, and then inhaling to bring your head back towards the center. Exhaling to release towards the opposite side, and then bringing back. And just do this a couple of times. Just beginning to find that relationship between breathing and moving together. And also just nicely massaging into the back of the head and finding some movement for the neck. And the next time that you bring your head back towards the center, bringing the arms down by the sides of the body if they're not already. And with your next inhale, beginning to draw the breath down towards the belly, so we start to lengthen our breathing. And then as you breathe out, just softly and easily breathing out, so not letting any strain come into the breath. Inhaling, this time with your inhale, beginning to bring the arms to float up and overhead. And then as you breathe out, letting the arms float down by the sides of the body. And just doing this a couple of times with your breath. So extending, stretching, lengthening as you breathe in. And just lightly releasing the arms to come back down by the sides of the body as you breathe out. Next time that the arms are resting down by the side of the body, just let them be there, and then we're going to extend the right leg out long, along the length of the mat. Taking a breath in here, so just connecting back with that slightly longer breath if that's comfortable for you. And then as you breathe out, drawing the knee to come in towards the chest, and it can come as much or as little as feels comfortable. And then inhaling to straighten the leg back out along the length of the mat. And staying with that same side, so staying with whatever side you've begun with, we're just going to move the leg to extend it out and then draw the knee back in. And then next time that your knee draws back in towards the chest, we can place the foot back on the ground and take a breath in, extending the left leg or the opposite leg out, depending on where you started. And then as you breathe out, drawing this knee now in towards the chest. And then just exploring that movement, beginning to find a little bit of movement in the lower body, maybe beginning to become aware of how the lower body feels, how the hips feel. Notice or see if we can find that relationship between breathing and moving in a comfortable, easy way. So just allowing the breath to feel spacious, allowing the movement to feel comfortable. And then next time that the knee comes back in towards the chest, we can keep the left knee in and begin to bring the right knee in. And from here, bringing both of the hands to come onto the knees, taking a breath in and just guiding the knees away so the arms straighten. And then exhaling, drawing the knees to come in towards the chest. And doing this a couple of times, just bringing a little bit of movement into the spine, and fingertips can be light. The movement is kind of more in the lower body rather than using the arms. You might even lift the hands for a moment and just explore moving the knees away and then back towards you, maybe feeling a bit of engagement through the middle of the body. And then as the knees next come back in towards the chest, we're going to part the knees away from each other and begin to draw circles with the knees. So getting a little bit more into the hip joints, into these nice releasing, circling motions. And with all of these kind of opening movements, just noticing how your body feels in this moment, in this practice. Moving in the opposite direction if you haven't already. And then coming back to center, and let's let the legs come out long for a moment. So finding a nice full body stretch. Arms can come overhead or out to the sides. And then relaxing the arms down and just circling the ankles a couple of times. So easing into the ankle joints. And you can also at the same time find that movement into the hands and the wrists as well. And then just moving in the opposite direction. If you find an area that feels nice to move into, you can kind of move in and out. Lovely. And then bringing the knees to come back, so the feet on the ground, and can either roll onto your side from here, or you can draw the knees in a little closer to you, and we're going to transition to come onto the side of the body. And then when we make our way up, we are going to come towards all fours. So bringing your hands roughly under the shoulders, knees under the hips. If you want to pad the knees, you can put a blanket or a bit of extra padding underneath the knees. And then just finding your foundations here, so pressing evenly through the hands, inviting ease into the shoulders, into the body. And then as you next breathe in, beginning to open the chest forward, to lift the tailbone, allow the belly to drop down. And then as you breathe out, drawing the belly in, rounding the spine, releasing the head and the neck. And then inhale to open the chest forward, to lift the tail. And just moving in this way, so finding extension and opening for the spine, opening for the chest on the inhale, and a sense of rounding through the spine and the body on the exhale. And then next time that you exhale, inviting the hips to come down towards the feet as we lower towards an extended child's pose, and you can come halfway or come all the way down. And then breathing in to roll back up, to lead with the chest, to open the tail, coming back to our cow posture, and then exhaling to release back down towards the earth. And just settling into moving between these two postures, these two shapes. Next time that you come up towards cow posture, we're then going to breathe out and turn towards the right side, so beginning to open a bit through the left side of the body. Inhaling, coming back to center, and then exhaling, turning towards the opposite side, stretching through the opposite side of the body. Inhale brings us back to center, and then exhale, grounding down towards child's pose. And moving through this again, so lifting, opening up, exhaling, turning towards the side. Coming back through center, all just in your own time, and then as you next breathe out, coming towards the other side. Coming back towards the center, and then releasing down towards child's pose. Inhaling to come back up, opening through the chest, lifting through the tail. But this time as we breathe out, tucking the toes under. You might just press into the hands a bit more and hover the knees, or you might lift the knees a bit higher towards downward facing dog. And then inhaling to bring the knees back down towards the ground, and exhaling to come all the way down towards child's pose. Inhaling, rolling up. Exhaling, lifting the knees or drawing the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Releasing back down, finding contact with the ground, and then eventually finding your extended child's pose. And we'll move through this one more time, and when you come to downward dog, or if you're hovering the knees, we're going to pause here for a moment. If you're hovering the knees and it feels more comfortable, you can have the knees back down on the ground. If you're in downward dog, you can move the legs, so maybe bending one leg and then the other leg. So we're padding out the feet. Notice what's happening in the upper body, and you might draw the shoulders away from the ears, relax any holding in the head and the neck. So bringing in that balance between stability and ease in the body. And then we're going to start to bring the feet towards the hands. So if you're in downward facing dog, walking the hands towards the feet, or the feet towards the hands. If you're in all fours, just lifting the knees again, and then finding your way there as well. And then just allowing the body to dangle, allowing the body to almost just hang here, find this forward fold, soften through the knees, soften through the shoulders, the neck. Notice if there's any holding or tension in the abdomen, and allow that to release as well. This can be a really nice place to have a bit of a sigh. When we fold forward, the out breath kind of releases a lot more easily. So maybe taking a breath in and then just sighing it out. And then as you next breathe in, beginning to bring the chest forward, beginning to let the arms come out to the side. And as you lead with the chest coming all the way up to standing, letting the arms stretch overhead, and then releasing the arms down. When you get here, it might feel nice to just shake the body out a little bit. Lovely, and then we'll come to find our mountain pose, and this is where we kind of bring that stability in. So just finding anywhere with your sort of stance, your footing, that feels stable for you. So feet might be closer or wider apart. Beginning to ground down evenly through the feet. Find that steadiness underfoot that you can connect to. Lightly engaging through the legs and checking there's no tension in the knees. Noticing the position of the pelvis, and you can bring one hand to the belly and one to the lower back, and just find where that middle place is for the pelvis by tipping forward and back. Releasing the arms down, releasing the shoulders, and then taking a breath in and drawing the shoulders up towards the ears, and exhaling to release the arms, release the breath. And doing that one more time. And then let's bring the hands towards the heart center. And as you breathe in, we're going to open the arms out wide. And then as you breathe out, we're going to bring the hands towards the heart center. Hello, Willow. And then breathing in, this time bringing the arms all the way up overhead. And then as you breathe out, folding forward, so finding that full fold. Inhaling to find your halfway lift, so the hands might come towards the shins or up towards the thighs. Exhaling to fold back down. Inhaling, coming all the way back up and bringing the palms together. As you breathe out, bending the knees and letting your hands come down towards the heart center. Inhaling, bringing the arms up. As you breathe out, we're going to come into a twist, so letting the spine rotate, bringing the arms out to the side, the head and neck can follow with that movement. Inhaling to unravel back, and then exhaling to open back out. Inhaling, coming back, and exhaling, grounding back towards our mountain pose, our starting place. And then let's move through that again. So inhale, expanding out. Exhaling, drawing back. And as we move, just sort of cultivating that sense of moving with ease, with spaciousness. Breathing out to fold forward. As you breathe in, it's that opening of the chest forward, hands run up the fronts of the legs, halfway lift. And then exhaling to release back down. And then let's bring the body all the way back up, palms meet overhead. Exhaling, bending the knees, bringing the hands down through the heart center. Inhaling, lengthening, standing tall. And then exhaling to bring the arms out to the side. And then we'll move back through center and move towards the opposite side. And then coming back towards the middle, and then we'll bring the hands back towards the heart space, and then moving one more time through this, so inhaling to expand, and just settling in with the length of your breath, so finding the length of breath that feels comfortable and letting the movements be supported by that, finding that halfway lift. Releasing back down, steadily coming all the way to stand up tall, palms together, exhaling, hands down through the heart center, inhaling to come up, and exhaling, opening out, just noticing how it feels in the body, noticing sensation, the sense of how it feels to move in and out, and even to pause in these places. Then bringing the hands towards the heart space, releasing the arms, shaking the arms out, shaking the legs out again, maybe having a bit of a sigh, resetting the pattern of breathing. And then we'll come towards one of our warrior poses, so our warrior one, coming towards the back of your mat or your space, turning the left foot out slightly and bringing the right foot forward. And just have a little check-in with how that feels in the legs, so bending. If you need to bring the legs wider or closer together or change the angle of that back foot, just feeling into that. And then bringing the gaze forward, and before we begin to move, finding that ease back in the body again. So relaxing the shoulders down, easing or bringing softness into the face. Supporting that by bringing a bit of stability in as well, so grounding down through the feet. Taking a breath in, and as you do, bending through the front knee and sweeping the arms up, and then exhaling to release the arms to come down. Moving in this way, just in your own time, coming into the pose on the inhale and gradually releasing the arms, the legs on the exhale. And as you do this, inviting that awareness to just sink into the body, sink into how it feels, what you notice. Next time the knee is bent and the arms are up, keeping the legs as they are as you release the arms down. So cultivating that steadiness of our lower body, keeping that spaciousness and movement of the upper body. And then as the arms next come up, pausing here so that we experience a little bit of staying, of stillness in the pose. Gives us a bit of a chance to check in even more with how everything feels, if anything needs to be adjusted or relaxed, or maybe it needs a little bit more support and engagement. So just thinking, where can you bring ease into the pose? Where can you keep support, steadiness? And then checking in with the breath, checking in that we're not holding the breath, but we're allowing it to flow and move freely. Exhaling, releasing the arms down, releasing the bend in the leg, stepping forward about halfway, bringing the hands onto the hips and exploring a little bit of balance. So you might lift that back toe off a little bit. You might lift that leg a little bit more. Really rooting down through that standing leg. The upper body kind of naturally lean forward to support that weight of balance. If it feels good, if it feels fun, bringing the arms out in front and just embracing how it is, embracing if there's wobble, embracing if there's stillness. If you're coming in and out of it, if you're holding it, just kind of allowing this to be what it is at the moment. Sometimes balances can get a little bit serious. So just inviting a smile, practicing balance, not perfecting it. And then bringing your legs to come down, so both feet are next to each other. You might sort of bend the knees a little bit or shake out the legs. Might also feel nice just to sort of move the arms or windmill the arms a little bit to just release and relax through the body. And then we'll come towards the other side, so coming back towards the back of the mat, turning the right foot out this time, stepping the left leg forward, bringing the arms down by the side of the body and just having that moment to check in with the comfort of your legs, with the position of the legs, maybe bending the knee a couple of times. Maybe you release the breath before we begin, so sighing the breath out or breathing out through the mouth. And then inhaling to bend the knee, sweep the arms up. And exhaling to release back down. And as you move forward and up, just keeping the gaze ahead, keeping a nice comfortable position for your neck, but also that kind of gentle concentration for the gaze ahead, somewhere to focus on as you move, somewhere to focus Focus your gaze, focus your mind. You can also bring that awareness into how the pose feels on this side, how sensation feels. Just that nice, open, relaxed awareness of how it feels in the lower body, the spine, the arms. Next time that we come into the pose, letting the legs stay stable and still as we release the arms down. And then we'll just move with the upper body, just inviting that fluidity, that ease, opening through the shoulders, gently extending through the spine as we bring the arms up and releasing back to more of a neutral spine as we breathe out and relax the arms down. And then next time that we come up and bring the arms up, finding stillness here or finding your place in the pose. If it feels more comfortable, arms can be wider or lower down. Checking in with the lower body as well. Does it feel better to bend through the front knee a bit more or stay up a bit higher? It can be quite nice to have that extra support by engaging the legs lightly and having that sense of grounding down through the lower body, but then kind of gently lifting or extending up through the upper body. Where is the breath in this pose? Can we invite it down towards the belly so that we find that nourishing, steady, long breath? And then as you breathe out, we can relax the arms, relax the bend in the knee. Step the foot about halfway in and beginning with the hands, sort of finding your center of gravity, maybe hands on the hips to begin with. And then just explore, so lifting the foot or lifting the toe. You might keep the toe rooted or you might lift the foot a bit more. If there's any discomfort in the knee, you can always bend the knee of the rooted leg. If it feels fun to do so, bringing the arms forward and bringing that lightness into how we approach with balance in our kind of our judgments to it. So allowing it to be fun, allowing that exploration. And knowing that one side is always wobblier than the other. I definitely feel like this is my wobblier side. So learning and just noticing that. Willow's coming in to help me now. Hello, Willow. and then we're going to start to bring the foot back down, release the arms back down. Let the body just sort of find whatever movement feels nice. Shaking it out, having a sigh. It might feel nice to just rock the ankles or the feet from side to side after a little bit of balance as well. And then let's come towards the front of the mat, and we're going to move down towards the ground and come to lie on our backs very soon. So finding your mountain pose, just checking back in with that stability underfoot, that ease through the body. Hands come towards the heart center. Taking a breath in and lengthening the arms up overhead. And then exhaling, arms come out to the side, folding at the hips, softening and bending through the knees, enough that you can bring the fingertips to the ground. Stepping one foot back and then the other foot back, downward facing dog. And then coming down towards all fours. Taking a moment either in child's pose, so bringing the hips back towards the feet and allowing the spine to round. Head can be on the ground or can be resting on your hands or your arms. If it feels more comfortable, you can come straight onto the back of the body and hug the knees in. And just let there be a moment of pause, of stop. Letting the breath just be easy and natural. Letting the body relax. if you are in child's pose, just bringing yourself up onto all fours and transitioning to come onto the back of the body. And when you arrive there, you're just going to bring the feet to the ground. The arms can be out to your sides, either close to you, or you can now allow a bit more space. And we're going to bring some movement, first of all in for the pelvis, and then option to bring that into the spine as well. So we'll begin by, as you next breathe out, just allowing the lower back to become flat against the mat. So we're slightly lifting the tailbone. And then as you breathe in, finding space behind the lower back so that the tailbone makes more contact with the ground. There's a bit extension or a bit of an arc behind the lower back. And then coming back to that first movement of flattening the lower back before finding that space. And then relaxing back to more of a neutral, natural spine. And you can either stay with doing that movement, or if it feels nice, we can come into a bridge pose. And if you want to come into bridge, taking a breath in and just beginning to lift up through the spine, either up into the lower, the middle back. You can also lift up into the upper spine too. And to release down, letting the upper back come down first, then the middle back, then the lower back. So we gradually release the spine down. Exploring this again, so nice supportive inhale. Exhaling to gently release back down. Coming one more time through your version of the pose that you're exploring. And then letting the spine relax back. We're going to bring the knees back in towards the chest, so bringing that roundness. And as you next breathe in, letting the arms come overhead and the feet come up towards the ceiling, the legs can stay bent. And then exhaling to release back. And just doing that a couple of times, so finding that sense of taking up space, of having space in the body, and then hugging back in. And the next time that the knees and hands and everything come towards your center, bringing the feet down towards the ground, letting the feet move a bit wider, so maybe as wide as the mat. You can have the arms out to the side, or you can rest the hands on the rib cage, or rest the arms on the body. And as you breathe out, just letting both of the knees relax over towards one side. So it doesn't matter which side we come to first. And then as you breathe in, letting the knees come back towards the middle. And breathing out to release over towards the other side. So we just start to move in and out of this twist, often likened to the motion of windscreen wipers. And as we come towards the close of the practice, just letting these movements be really easy, non-effort, simple. Almost allowing the weight of the body to support, to release one way and the other way. And then finding that movement one more time on each side of the body. So just letting the breath guide that movement. And then when you then have finished that round, you can either let the knees relax in towards each other, or you can bring the feet closer and knees facing up if that feels more comfortable. And we'll just find a simple movement for the arms and the shoulders. So bringing both of the arms, so the fingertips face up towards the ceiling, And then taking hold of either elbow so you can see your forearms kind of in front of your face, in front of your eyes. Relax the shoulders and then just rock the shoulders from side to side, or rock the elbows from side to side so it brings that movement into the shoulders. Kind of gently massaging into the upper back. And then we can stay with moving side to side, or we can bring more of a circling motion in so that we're moving the elbows a couple of times, or the arms a couple of times in one direction and then in the other direction. Hello, Willow. And then when you're ready, we can relax the arms to come down. We can let the legs come out long if they're not already. And then just see if there's any other movements you want to make before coming to Savasana. So it might feel nice to move through the ankles and the wrists again. It might feel nice to hug the knees in, or find any movements at all, maybe the head and the neck. And then we can begin to settle into just a little bit of stillness, of rest, of pause, and make sure that the position that you come into feels comfortable, restful and nourishing. So that can be any position, on your back, on your side, on your front. Take time to ease and relax back through the joints of the body, and just bring that sense of spaciousness in. Becoming aware of the contact of the ground beneath you, of the ground supporting you. And through that awareness of that contact, maybe allowing the body to relax into it a little more, rest into that sense of being held, being supported. And then just resting here in quiet for these next few moments, or for as long as you like. And either choosing to stay here for a little bit longer, or if you want to begin to transition, just starting to bring some small movements back in to maybe the fingers, the toes. And then feeling into whatever movement feels nice next to make, maybe stretching out through the body. And then when you're ready to come onto the side, you might hug the knees in towards the chest. Then begin to transition, to come up. Taking a moment to find any comfortable seat, anywhere that you can. Just allow the body to ground down, relax. Transition from practice to the rest of your day or week. Bringing that same sense of ease into the body. Taking a nice nourishing breath in and relaxing, releasing the breath out. And then I just say thank you and namaste. Thank you.